Hey, what is going on, Lions fans and One Pride Nation? Back at you with another episode of the Lyons Den Weekly. I decided to do a Lyons Den Weekly this time because I found four stories. These are not four stories that I would actually want to do individually, but I decided to do a Lyons Den Weekly just to kind of give us something to look forward to. Listen, y'all, we are officially in the dog days of summer. The NHL is done. The NBA is done. And the only thing happening right now is the wind down of all the mini camps and everything. And camp, if I'm not mistaken, is going to kick off right after the 4th of July. So we do have that coming up. But I mean, as far as news go, there has not been a lot of news in the NFL cycle, particularly with our Detroit Lions. It's just a lot of this and that's going on. So this morning, we're going to talk about some of the this and that's. I have four stories I want to talk about, with the first being about Alex Anzalone, our star linebacker. And this is talking about his contract. This article on Pride of Detroit says Lions need to account for age with signing Anzalone, which I agree with. Let me give you a little bit of this story. It goes on to talk about, it says it's been relatively quiet offseason for the Lions, whose main move in free agency was replacing free agent cornerback Carlton Davis with DJ Reed. It goes on to say a big piece of business done was the extension of Kirby Joseph. It talks about, it says Detroit also extended linebacker Derek Barnes, which was a deal that I was very much in favor of. It said, now could it be time to turn to another impending free agent linebacker? Alex Anzalone is entering the final year of a 3-year, $18.3 million deal signed back in 2023. Entering his age 31 season, he's set to have a cap hit of $7.3 billion this upcoming season. Anzalone was not present for voluntary organized team activities, also called OTAs, earlier this offseason, reportedly seeking a new contract. Lions coach Dan Campbell issued no worries. Dan Campbell said, I think was great is that any player that I talk to, I have a relationship with, and there's an open line of communication. Whatever I say, whatever I say to those players, I'm not going to say to you guys. I never will. There's communication that has been great, so I'm not worried. Let's go down a little bit. It says baseline numbers for Alex Anzalone's contract extension. Okay. It says, of course, the Detroit linebacker has also been one of the team's most underrated players in recent years, which has essentially been seen when he's off the field. It goes on to talk about that. It says one free agency deal to consider from last offseason was the Carolina Panthers signing Josie Joel to a 3-year, $18.75 million deal with little over $10 million of that guaranteed. Well, I'm gonna go down here. It says projecting the new deal. The age is key here for Anzalone, who will be entering his age 32 season on an extension. So I don't see a 3-year extension on the cards, unlike some of the other deals. Instead, a 2-year deal with 1-year guarantees would make sense. In that case, the linebacker would earn some guaranteed money, while the Lions would maintain significant flexibility in the case Anzalone's play declines in 25 or 26. Given that it's a shorter term deal, a slight bump in salary from his previous contract would make sense, perhaps on par with the 1-year contract that Bobby Wagner and Levante David got, $9 million each. So this is my thoughts on the Alex Anzalone deal. I do agree with that. Now I'm trying to think. I didn't look up his age. They said entering his 31-year season, but I'm not sure if he's going to be 30, if he's 31 now entering this season, or they're saying he's going to be 32 when the season starts. What I think makes sense is a 2-year extension. I agree. When athletes, when it goes, a lot of times it goes fast, people. And Alex Anzalone could absolutely fall off. He absolutely could fall off. He could have a good 2025 and be that leader that we've had on the team, and then he could just fall off in 2026, and that should be it. So I think a 2-year deal, maybe you give him some guaranteed money for this year, you sign him through the 26-27 season. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. All right, let's look at our next story. What we got next? Have 3 more stories for you. I think we're going to go with this one. Saw a story about that says that, I'm sorry, let me get it. There it is. Lions fans won't be sad if 2022 draft bus is traded before training camp. Now, I'm going to let you know that this is talking about Josh Paschal. I'm going to kind of get to some of the meat of this. Let's see. Let's start here. Lions should trade Josh Paschal immediately. This is on Detroit Jock City. Josh Paschal was selected by the Lions in the second round of the 2022 draft. Through 3 seasons, Paschal hasn't lived up to the expectations of a second-round pick, posting 5 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, and 15 quarterback hits. This past season, Paschal hit a career high in games started with 10 and snaps played at 548, yet only posted 2 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss, and 8 quarterback hits. PFF gave Paschal a 54.5 overall grade, which ranks him 154th out of 211 eligible pass rushers and gave him a 48 pass rush grade. Let's read a little more. Even with Detroit's defense having numerous injuries, Paschal wasn't able to make an impact, although Paschal has been solid in the run game, receiving a 62.5 run defense grade. He hasn't evolved into a quality starting edge player that the Lions hoped he would be. With Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport returning from injury and Zadarius Smith rumored to be potentially coming back, the Lions should part ways with Paschal before training camp. What are my thoughts on Josh Paschal? Josh Paschal has been a solid player. He's been a player that I like, but I have to agree with the with the author of this article. I mean, he has not lived up to it. A second round pick. This is not the NBA where you're not expecting much from second round picks. In the NFL, first, second, third, fourth round picks, you're expecting something. You're expecting that player to contribute. I would agree. Josh Paschal has not lived up to expectations. He didn't shine when all of those players got hurt in 2024 when it was his time to step up. What Josh Paschal is this. I don't know necessarily about trading him because I think that he's a plug and play piece that you can move around the defensive line. You can move him to either side as a defensive tackle. You can put him on the defensive. I mean, he's a situational, what I would say, pass rusher, but he's probably never going to be a guy who's going to get you 7, 8, 9, or even double-digit sacks. He's just a solid player. He's a player that I would keep around if the contract and the money was right. I'm not really familiar with his contract or his money situation, but he's the type of player that you would keep around in that type of situation. Okay, let's move on to our third story. Our third story is proposed trade sends $22 million star away from, away for new edge. I got to be honest, I don't remember who the player was on this one. So let me see. Let me go down. Who was the player they were talking about? I think it was DJ Reed when I looked through this story. Okay, this is what this is proposing. This is on heavy.com. It says Mike Payton of A to Z Sports has pitched a trade proposal for the Lions to bring a new edge to town. In this trade, the Lions receive AJ Epenesa and the Buffalo Bills get DJ Reader, so it's a clean trade. In this piece, Payton notes that there's a chance that the Lions may still bring back Zadarius Smith, but that has not happened yet. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about, do we want to would we be interested in trading DJ Reader for AJ Epenesa? When he was coming out of college, he was a pass rusher that I was interested in. He was a guy that I thought would be a good fit for the Lions, and he still may be. The question is, do you want to trade DJ Reader? Do you want to trade DJ Reader, who's more of a nose tackle, but he can eat up blocks? And DJ Reader didn't have a bad 2024. He was injured for a couple of games, but he was productive. So do you want to trade him? Because we now have Talik Williams and you have different people you can put in there. Wingo, Alim McNeil is going to be back. Owusu and Ricky is there. So do you trade a guy like DJ Reader if you can get a edge rusher? I'd like to know, Lions fans, what you think about it. Do you think it will be worth it? And then let's move on to the last story that we have, which is, I think it has something to do with another edge, to be honest with you. Where are you at? Where are you hiding at? There it is. Yes, we are talking about another edge. The Cleveland Browns recently, I'm sorry, I got to look at his name to make sure I get it right. The Cleveland Browns recently just released Ogbo Okoronkwo. I think that's how you say his name. Okoronkwo. Yeah. But I know his first name is Ogbo. That's one of them hard last names to pronounce. But hey, Lions fans, you all know who I'm talking about. He was recently released, and this article is saying, should the Lions go and scoop him up? Let's see if it says anything about his production. I'm kind of scrambling. It says, Okoronkwo has never had flashy production throughout his career, posting a total of 17 sacks. Beginning his career as a fifth-round pick of the Rams in 2018, he did not see action until the 2019 season when he appeared in 10 games, predominantly as an outside linebacker. Notably, he was drafted by the Rams while current Lions general manager Brad Holmes was with the organization as the director of college scouting. So Brad Holmes is familiar with this kid. This kid is a decent at best, I would say, pass rusher, decent at best. I would say that I don't know. You could bring him in when training camp starts and maybe see what he does. I guess it wouldn't hurt anything because the Lions are desperate for pass rushers. But I like the Buffalo proposed trade better. If you can bring him in and you can still sign Zadarius Smith, that would be a decent move. But I don't know, Lions fans. This kid could come here and he could give the Lions 6-7 sacks and be very productive. All right, Lions fans, what do you think about the 4 stories that I presented to you today? Give me your thoughts on it. We appreciate your time. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube so we can keep talking Lions football amongst other things. On the bottom of the screen there, you see our TikTok page and you see our Twitter/X page. If you haven't gave us a follow over there, we would appreciate it if you do that as well. Other than that, Lions fans, that's all we have for this one. Until next time, peace.